opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends. And we're going to put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. Here they come right there. Boop, top right-hand corner of the screen. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Man, we are so happy that they are our sponsors. They do a great job supporting Running Point. They've been here for a while, a lot of twists and turns. We've changed the format of this show. We've changed the length of this show. We changed the host of this show. And they have never wavered in their belief on what Running Point can be, and we thank them for that. And we continue to strive to make this show as awesome as it possibly can be. And one of the ways that we feel like going the extra mile for you is we play the player profiles that we get featured on ysnlive.com. We play them for you on the show, feature them, make sure to give all the players and the coaches some limelight on this show. We do coaches' corners at the start of the season, a lot of season previews. And then as the season goes on, we get more and more player profiles. We have done one almost every single day. I think the only days we missed this spring were the bracket breakdown days where we had a lot to talk about, but we have put a lot of players on the show, and we are proud to do that. We're proud to continue that. Today, we're going to go into South Range softball. They're gearing up for a regional semifinal game tomorrow night. Well, I should say tomorrow afternoon against Massillon Tuslaw. 2 o'clock is your first pitch at Baldwin Wallace softball field. And they will be playing Massillon Tuslaw, the team that knocked them out of the tournament 2 years ago in regional. So the Raiders looking for some revenge. Today, we feature a player profile from their senior, Gretchen Bartels, the lone senior in that roster. So can't wait for you guys to hear from her in that interview. It's a great one. And it's going to be a great day. We have a lot of other stuff to talk about, too. We have to break down the scoreboard from last night. We're going to do that right now. Pop it up on the screen for you. The YSN scoreboard is brought to you by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs, and it is a great tool for our fans. Whether you're at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts, either way, you don't want to look away from the screen for too long. And the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get live updated scores from your favorite teams across the YSN family. We have a great team that works very diligently behind the scenes. I want to give them a little shout out that makes sure that this YSN scoreboard is live updated, and it is one that you can go to and trust. And it is can be found, I should say, at ysnlive.com/scores, and it is presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's go down to hear the scoreboard. United and South Range kick us off on the baseball side of things. Only baseball last night. These were district semifinals, and South Range gets the win over United 7-2. The final score, a big day for the Raiders. Salem unfortunately falls to Geneva. Final score there was 5-2. Canfield and Hubbard play a thriller as they go into extras. Canfield gets the walk-off victory, 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning after Hubbard took the lead in the top of the 8th in extras. Canfield wins 8-7. We'll break that game down here in a bit because it was definitely a thriller. Ursuline goes into a matchup with Alliance as the quote unquote underdog and wins another one. 8-2 the final score. No problems for Ursuline. They own the night. They're going to the district championship. Another walk-off as Garrettsville Garfield walks it off against Chagrin Falls. 4-3 the final score. Garfield will go into the district championship game against South Range. West Branch gets to win over NDCL 1-0. I told you don't sleep on the Lions. Their pitching staff was no joke, but Bo Alazas was up for the task as he pitches the Warriors to victory in a shutout 1-0 win. West Branch over the Lions. And then we have LeBray shutting down Crestview 9-0. The final score. They go 3 of 3 against the Rebels in the season, and they will advance to the district championship game on Wednesday. So now that that's done, let's break down some of these big performances and big games. We'll start with that South Range game against United. And I told you the South Range pitching staff was deep enough that Coach Hannick had a lot of different options to go to start. And he went with Connor Brogan, and it did not disappoint. Oops, clicked on the wrong game changer. Here we go. South Range will bring up the box score of this one. And when you look at the night that Brogan had, 7 innings pitched, only gave up 3 hits. Both runs were earned. Struck out 8, walked 3. So a really good performance from him. He went 105 pitches, so we won't see him in the championship. But I think Coach Hannick would trade that for not having to use any other pitchers and letting Brogan go the full 7, which means he'll have the rest of his pitching staff completely available for the district championship game against Garfield. You look at the offense, Coach Hannick got a couple of opportunities to put some people in. A lot of people in this lineup. RBIs on the day were spread out. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4 people combined for the 5 RBIs on the day. They had a pair of them from Logan Baxter. He went 1 for 4 with 2 RBI. And then a multiple hit day from Brennan Klaslovsky, who went. Sorry, I just clicked out of it accidentally. Bear with me. Klaslovsky went 2 for 3 with a RBI, 2 runs scored, a big day for him. You had Tyler Wardle at the top of the lineup, go 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored, so he had a good day. Just a lot of spread out offense. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different players get a hit in the game. The Raiders managed 9 hits total. Kozovsky was the only one with multiple hits. He went on that 2 for 3 day. Brogan, along with his pitching performance, went 1 for 2 with a walk. So he had a good day at the plate as well. South Range wins 7-2. Now I want to talk about this Canfield Hubbard game, and we're going to start without even going to the stats. We're just going to go over the way this game ended. It got really wild in extras. We're going to break down the play-by-play here for how this game was won. And if we look at the top, we'll start in the top of the 8th. Hubbard gets back-to-back singles from Johnny Reyes and Tyler Wright. They go back-to-back, single. And then Canfield gets a line out. So there are 2 outs in the day with 2 on. A walk and a wild pitch put Hubbard ahead 7-6. So, a little bit of opening the door for Canfield, something that you don't want to see if you're Coach Niddle. Kind of an unearned run and getting there. Or I should say a run where it's an earned run because it's a wild pitch, but a run where you didn't really make the offense work too much for it. A walk, wild pitch, you find yourself down by 1 going to the bottom of the 8th in extra innings. Not the way you wanted to see that go down, and it was a 5-pitch walk, so it wasn't, a super competitive at bat that it was worn down. Just one of those ones where the strike zone couldn't be found in that particular at bat. But Canfield Their offense comes into the bottom of the eighth against Braden Songer, who's one of the best pitchers in Hubbard's arsenal. They draw a walk to lead things off, and this was a good at bat. In fact, it was 2-2. It was down to his last strike as Patelis walked with looking at the last two pitches, down 2-2. I should say with a 2-2 count. You're not down. Then Songer came back with a strikeout, but then another walk and another really long at bat. In fact, this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitches in the at bat for a walk. Murphy drew the walk, so it's 1-2 on with 1 out. Drop third strike. It should have been 2 outs. It's not. It should be 2 outs with runners on first and second, but instead 2 outs, runners on second and third from the drop third strike. And then Groner comes to the plate with 2 on, 2 out, and on a 1-1 count, he hits a base hit to walk off the game. 8-7, both runs score, but both teams in extras made a little bit of a hiccup to put the other team in a good situation. Hubbard, that drop third strike really hurt. So did the 2 walks. Both the runs that scored to walk off the game were walked on base. And for Canfield in the top half, they kind of escaped a little mistake with their walks and a wild pitch. So, I kind of did not expect this game to be a high-scoring one. I said on the show yesterday, kind of made myself look like, a fool now because you look back and go, wow, that wasn't a good take. But I said, I'd be surprised if this game gets more than 6 combined runs. And then Hubbard and Canfield's offense are like, how about 15, you loser? Shows you how much you know. And they they were both up for the task. These are really good pitching staffs, and the offenses, you credit them for working the walks, especially the ones that Canfield had. They were long, lengthy at bats. But you also give a tip of the hat to these offenses. They were able to knock in a lot of runs. Both of them had double figure hits. Hubbard had 11 hits, 7 runs, and Canfield had 13 hits. Big day for Stricko at the top of the lineup for Canfield. 4 for 4. Perfect day at the plate. 3 RBI, 2 runs scored. He also had a walk. That's just insane. He had multiple hits from Patelis, multiple hits from Jadala, multiple hits from Groner, multiple hits from Enzo Coca. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. So a lot of people in this offense were contributing. And what I like to see, and I've said this before, not trying to be redundant, but the 7, 8, 9 hitters had 4 combined hits and were a combined, I should say 5 combined hits, were a combined 5 for 11 with 3 combined run scores and 3 combined RBI. So the bottom of the order doing damage. I love to see it. You need that in tournament time. The better pitchers you face, the further you go down the road, the more you're going to need the bottom of that order to set up the best hitters in their lineup. Patelis pitched the first 6 innings of the game. He gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, only 2 of them, I should say, were earned. Struck out 4, walked 1. Those 6 innings took 94 pitches. Jadala came in and pitched the 7th, and then Murphy got the win as he came in and pitched the 8th for Canfield's pitching staff. For Hubbard's, Tyler Wright got the 3 2/3 inning. He did have 4 earned runs to his credit on 8 hits. Struck out 4, walked 3. Songer came in relief, pitched 4 innings, gave up the 3 earned runs on 5 hits, struck out 7, walked 4. That was another bugaboo for Hubbard. We saw it in the last inning, but it wasn't just that. 7 combined walks. That'll put you in bad situations in tournament play. For the offense for Hubbard, though, Wright had a good day. He was 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored. Songer, 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored. You had 2 RBIs from Gabe Leshnak, who went 1 for 5 on the day. And then Gabe Rusnak, I should say, had the RBI, a walk, and a 1 for 3 day. out of the 7 runs that Hubbard scored, only 4 of them were RBI. So a good day for Canfield. They advance into the district championship game. We look at who they're going to play, the next opponent for Canfield. And it will be Ursuline. Canfield Ursuline at Ysn Park Wednesday at 4 o'clock is all going down. That's going to be a really, really fun matchup. Really good. I think both teams are up for the task. If you asked me to pick one, I'd deny it and say no way, it's too hard. After last night saying that it's going to be a 6-run combined game and it ends up being 15, I don't know how much you would trust my prediction abilities anyway. Let's continue going over some of these games. I want to talk about Garfield, who also got the walk-off victory over Chagrin Falls, 4-3. You look at the box score of this one. Garfield was down 2-0 going into the 5th, and then Chagrin Falls added a run in the top of the 5th to make it 3-0. But a big bottom of the 5th for Garfield, tying up the game 3-3, and then winning it into the 7th with a walk-off base hit, 4-3. The final score, I should say, a walk-off sacrifice fly, 4-3. The final score. It was Aiden Hill that got to be the hero with that walk-off sacrifice fly. Hill at the 4 spot in the cleanup. He didn't get a hit, but he got the RBI that made the most damage. Bagucki, who I think is not talked about enough, he went 2 for 3 with an RBI, a walk, a run scored. You have Eric Geddes, who went 1 for 3 with an RBI, a walk. He's a big name on the list as well. Hill pitched well as getting up the walk-off hit. He went 5 2/3, gave up just 2 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 9, walked 6. And then Geddes came in and pitched the last inning in a third, didn't give up a hit, a run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. So they used him to close out the game after 5 2/3 from Hill. Geddes used only 16 pitches to get through his inning and 1/3, so he should be good to go if Garfield wants to use him in the district championship game against South Range, which that game will be in Springfield on Wednesday. And your start time for that one is going to be 5 o'clock between Garfield and South Range. It is the 4 seed versus the 5 seed in the district. LeBray has a matchup with Perry on the horizon. That'll be Wednesday at Ysn Park. 6:30 is your start time for that. And West Branch has a matchup with Geneva on Wednesday in the district championship. That'll be 3 seed West Branch versus 11 seed Geneva. 5 o'clock in Louisville for that one. The seeds for LeBray and Perry. LeBray is the 3, Perry is the 1. So a big showdown for the Vikings in the championship. And then Canfield, the 4 seed versus Ursuline, the 9 in that district championship as well. We go to tonight's preview as we have plenty of baseball on the board tonight. Divisions 1 and 4 in action for baseball. We will have Hoban versus Twinsburg at 2 o'clock happening right now as Louisville against Massillon, Washington in Nordonia. At Ysn Park, Springfield's going to take on Dalton. Warren JFK got Maplewood today, 2 o'clock in Niles. The game preceding that Niles will be Middle Ridge versus Jackson Milton, an all MVAC Scarlet tier matchup there. And then last but not least, in Parma, it'll be Ashtabula St. John against McDonald. That's a 2 o'clock start as well. Let's check in on Louisville. They started at 1 o'clock. See how they're doing. Well, they didn't go live on Game Changer, so I don't know how they're doing. We'll find out. We'll find out. We'll see. I also want to, I'm going to go into tomorrow's scoreboard so you can physically see the games I'm talking about real quick. But I'm also going to shout out the announcers and what games will be on the network tonight and today. So here are the games we're talking about, Divisions 1 and 4 in baseball. And the games that are on the network that you can watch for free, we have Warren JFK Baseball. And that is going to be DJ Oakley on the call in about 40 minutes in Niles. He'll have that one. That one is sponsored. It is free. The sponsor for this game is Warren Precision Products. They will be the proud sponsor of the JFK Maplewood game, which once again can be seen in about 40 minutes live on ysnlive.com for free. That's the only game on the network tonight. Class B starts tonight as well at Scene Park, as we have Scene 14U action tonight. We can't wait for our coverage of Class B to start after the high school season is over. We have Creekside and Ballistic on Scene 1 at 7:30. This is all 14U Avalanche and Astro Falcons on Scene 3 at 7:30. And the Barons at the Prospects are going to be playing on Scene 2 at 7:30. So it'll be a late night for the 14U kids. So that's the games you can see. Those are the games that are being played as you can see them on the screen. We will have recaps of every game up on ysnlive.com later tonight. Make sure to stay tuned for that. This looks like a pretty fake comment. Good lure, good lure, good lure. Before that, it was B. B. Good lure. B. Good lure. I don't know who you are, Kyo M. But I don't know. Appreciate the fake comment. Good job. We're going to take a break here on Running Point. When we come back, we'll have the player profile featured from South Range, Gretchen Bartels. That will be coming up after the break on Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We are going to go to a player profile now. Gretchen Bartels, a senior out of South Range, had a great interview with her, recorded just yesterday, as the Raiders geared up for a regional semifinal against Maslin Tuslaw tomorrow night. So enjoy this interview with the lone senior on the South Range roster. Come on. Anthony Herwig here with a South Range softball player profile. We are joined by a senior and the lone senior on this varsity team, Gretchen Bartels. Gretchen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
What's this journey been like for you to be a senior on a fairly young roster and to be leading this team and try to get them back to where they were last year?
It's definitely been really fun simply because my sister's on the team. So it's been really easy to connect with her and all of her friends. And we've been a pretty tight group this year, and it's made my senior year a lot of fun. And I'm hoping to continue our journey, hopefully back to where we were last year.
Now, we're catching up with you towards the end of the season. You're in regionals right now. But if you reflect back on the beginning of the year, what were some goals or some things that you had in mind of things you wanted to accomplish this year personally?
Personally, I definitely I wanted to increase my batting average to potentially like the highest I've had in my past 4 years. Just because over the winter I was really working on my hitting. I went to my hitting instructor and I really wanted to have a big year for my hitting wise.
What about kind of leadership and knowing that you were going to be a senior this year and trying to, be an emotional and an energetic leader to this team? What were some things that you wanted to do in that sense?
As a leader on a very young squad, I knew that they would have to learn a lot and kind of learn how our team works in a sense. I think the biggest thing was just to kind of be friendly towards everyone, and that way will become really close. And I don't know, they're a good group. They listen really well, and it wasn't a problem leading this team.
Now, it might be young in the sense of not a lot of senior leadership, but it is not young in the sense of experience. A lot of these players coming back from a full year last year, how much have you leaned on their experience to help you lead this team as well?
Oh, I've definitely leaned on a lot of the juniors, especially just because we are really close and they're kind of like my second-hand man when it comes to making decisions for the team and stuff like that. So that's been really helpful having them with me too.
Raider fans will notice a little bit of a shuffle of the infield this year. You spent, the last couple of seasons locking down third base for this team, and now you go over to the other side of the diamond and you're primarily the first baseman this year. What's that transition been like for you?
It's been pretty easy simply because I play first base for I used to play first base for my travel team. Um, But for sure, I think we just needed to fill some spots that were left open from our graduating class last year. And overall, it's been an easy transfer. It took a few getting used to everything, but it didn't take very long.
Do you miss third base at all? Do you miss being in the hot corner?
Sometimes I do. I think about it sometimes, and I do miss getting like all the action. But I mean, first base, I like first base too. So.
Let's talk about the hitting. You talked about how one of your goals was raising your batting average. You spent a lot of the year in top one or two in the team when batting average comes to the discussion. What was working so well for you? What kind of things do you think went into your success this year at the plate?
I definitely think working the count for sure, seeing what the umpires are calling, high balls, low balls, like trying not to swing at the ones I don't want. And I also like taking first pitch strikes. I like to swing at them. And I think that's where I get most of my success, just because I'm a very good first pitch hitter. So that was a big thing that I took in this season.
Every time we talk to Coach DeRose about you, he talks about the attitude you have and the positive energy you bring to the dugout. How do you keep yourself mentally up, in a game of failure like softball is? You're going to strike out. You're going to have a hit not go your way. How do you always keep yourself in this positive energy type of mindset?
My mindset, especially recently, has has been like it's just softball. It's a game. I'm supposed to have fun. And I think if I'm down on myself, I won't have any fun. And it's kind of pointless to play because I'm there to have fun. So that's a big thing that I take. And it's just softball. So.
Has that attitude kind of been really hard for you to navigate to yourself with, or have you always been a person that is easy to have that kind of mindset where you don't get too hard on yourself?
I think I've always had that mindset just because I've grown up like my dad, he's never been hard on me. He always tells me like it's just a game, like get the next one, whatever. He's a big part of my attitude, I think, but I've never really had I've never been down on myself, honestly.
You brought up Heidi, and you're being on the same team as your sister earlier in this interview. She's the catcher so far this year. What's this dynamic been like to be able to share this with her all year and to be able to see her step into a big role in this team as well?
It's for sure been really fun. We're super close. We hang out all the time. We share a room. So it's been a lot of fun. We played travel softball last year together and that was a blast. I like being around her. A lot of people think we're very similar and they mistake like me for her or her for me. So I think it's definitely been a lot of fun just seeing her step up and like be a varsity starter this year. And it's been exciting.
How many people ask you if you're twins? Like, be real. How many people think that like you two are closer in age than you are?
They don't necessarily ask if we're twins. They just like say, "Oh my gosh, you guys look like twins," or like it's constant.
When you think of being able to go back to regionals, you have not lost a district your whole high school career. What's that mean to you to be able to say you're one of the senior classes that has been able to get this program into regionals every year that they've been a student?
It's definitely crazy. I was thinking about it the other day how like I have 4 district medals and like it's just not normal to have 4 district medals, but I have all 4, so it's like so weird to me that it's not normal. But I definitely it's like very honoring to say that I've made it to regionals my past 4 years just because making it to regionals is huge.
You've had a big role in every district championship that the Raiders have won up to this year, and now Heidi gets the big role this year with the Grand Slam. You've had 2 home runs in a district championship. You've had a walk-off single, suicide squeeze in your first district championship. What's it like to have a story like that you can tell to generations that, hey, all 4 years, me or my sister came up with the biggest plays in this big game?
It was definitely exciting when it happened. I remember running out to the plate and she gave me like the biggest hug in like the little circle. But I think it's very cool to say that we both have had huge games in a huge game that it was. But to say that she had a grand slam and I had 2 home runs, it's just kind of fun. It's kind of like deja vu almost, but like very kind of different in that kind of sense. So it's exciting.
When she went up to the plate with the bases loaded and you're only able to watch from the dugout at that point, I mean, what's going through your mind as a supporter and as a sister when you're watching her at bat?
It's definitely it's like more nerve-wracking for me than I think it is watching anybody else on the team. And I don't know why it's more nerve-wracking for me to watch her than me to go up to the plate like against like last year I did for districts for Poland. Like I could see her pacing back and forth in the dugout. That's how I was too the other day because I was just so like I wanted her to do so well. And she did. I mean, the second you saw the ball off the bat, hit off the bat, it was gone. And I was very excited.
So let's talk about your future. You're a senior, which means you're going to be obviously graduating from South Range. We hate to see you go, but it's reality of life. You have to go to the next chapter. What are some of the things that you're going to be doing after you graduate from South Range?
Well, I plan to get my pharmacy degree. I think I'm gonna go to YSU for my first 2 years, and then I'll for my undergraduate, my pre-pharmacy years, and then I'll go to Neomed in Rootstown for my to get my doctorate. So
When you think of pharmacy, what kind of things drove you to wanting to be in that career field and wanting to pursue that as a job?
well, it's kind of run down my whole family. So my dad owned a drugstore and he had a pharmacy, and that's where he met my mom. So he hired her to be a pharmacist there. And then my aunt, my uncle are also pharmacists, and my cousin is actually going into pharmacy right now. So it's kind of been in my family, and I've known about it my whole life. So I've kind of always wanted to be a pharmacist. But I think like a big thing now as I'm getting older and thinking about what I want to do is I just want to kind of help people in a way, like help my community, give back.
Keeping the family legacy secure in the pharmacy world. YSU is going to be somewhere really close to home. How important is that for you to be somewhere where you're still right with your sister? You can come watch her play when you need to. You can be right at home. How much was that a decision on deciding what college you want to go to?
It was definitely a big factor because I was thinking like 3 hours was as far as I was gonna go. Like there was like I was not going farther than 3 hours, but I think why she was just better for me because I would be able to watch Heidi play and finish her last 2 seasons, like through volleyball or softball. And that was a big factor when I was thinking about what college I wanted to go to.
What's it going to be like for you when you're watching instead of playing, do you think? Do you have any idea what that's going to be like when you're a spectator instead of a teammate?
Not really. I'm kind of excited to see like the difference. I don't know. I see my parents watching all the time, and it's exciting to just be able to watch and see what happens, but I'm also definitely going to miss it and miss playing with them.
You're a senior whose softball career will be over when the season is over because you're not pursuing a college softball, career. So how much are you trying to treasure these last couple games? I know it's a high pressure situation. It's tournament, it's win or go home. How much are you trying to take in everything and realizing that, every game that you play could literally be your last softball game that you play in your competitive career?
I'm definitely trying to take them in as much as possible. I'm trying to remember the special moments, have fun with my friends. After every game, we've been going out to eat. Some of us have been going out to eat, and it's just like a lot of fun. And I don't know. I'm just trying to treasure it as much as possible.
When it's over, and hopefully it's over in Akron with a big trophy. But
Yeah.
when it is over, what are going to be some of the things that you reflect on that you're proud that you were able to accomplish?
I definitely think, well, for me personally, I think I hit very well this season, and my rotating positions, I think I took that very well. So I'll definitely be proud of that, and I'll just be proud of like the friendships I've made over this past just year. My past 4 years, I've had a lot of upperclassmen lean on and talk to, but like this year, I leaned on all my underclassmen. So I don't know. I'm very happy how the season turned out, and yeah.
All right, Teacher Appreciation Day was last week, so I want you to go through some teachers in the South Range school system that you're going to be very appreciative of and that you couldn't get through your high school career without.
Definitely my big one was Miss Pav. She was my pre-calc math teacher, and she's also a softball coach, so I leaned on her a lot. Mr. Landry, he's my French teacher. I really liked him. He just like made me laugh, made me smile. Like he just was always fun in that sense. Mr. Lindstrom, he was my history teacher. I hated history, but he was always making people laugh and he was just fun. I talked to him every day. And Mrs. Scott, she's my last one. I love Mrs. Scott so much. I just love to talk to her.
How much French do you know after years of French with Mr. Landry?
Only some, because I'm not very good at talking about it. Like my accent is awful, but I can write it down on a piece of paper, but that's about it.
But like if you were dropped in Paris, let's say, like could you do like the routine stuff? Could you ask what you need to ask to survive, or do you think you'd be completely lost?
No, I don't think so. I think I'd be pretty lost. I think I'd be able to like read off a menu, but that's about as far as it goes.
There are different languages given at South Range. What made you choose French?
Well, first my freshman year I took Spanish and I hated it. I thought it was like so difficult. So then I heard like all my friends saying, "Oh, like French is a lot easier." Like I don't know, I learned it a lot easier than Spanish, so I moved over to French and it was a lot of fun. I took it my sophomore year, so I had a lot of my juniors to take with. So those were a lot of my good friends and they helped. And it was just exciting.
What are some of the things that make you proud to be a Raider, that you're going to be representing your school for a couple of more times, hopefully? What makes you proud to put on that jersey and say that you're representing South Range?
Overall, I just really like the South Range community. I feel like, especially my senior year, I've felt like very connected towards people. Like, my guidance counselor and my principal nominated me for the scholarship, and I felt very honored for that. It was just like the community overall. It just really, I enjoy it. I enjoy being in South Range.
All right, Gretchen, before we let you go, we do this with every player profile. We want to give you the time to take the spotlight off yourself for a second and shine on the people in your life, your support system, the people that have always been there for you. So I want to give you as much time as you want to send out your shout outs and your thanks.
For sure, I want to shout out my parents, of course, my dad and my mom. They do everything for me. I ask them to do something, they of course say yes. They've always been very supportive. And of course, my sister, we love her, and my brother, but my sister because we're really really close. And then I'm trying to think. I think those are the main ones I want to shout out.
All right, Gretchen, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and give us an insight into your senior year. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the way in the regionals. We hope this journey goes as far as it can. We hope that you end the year with a trophy, and we hope to see you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
That was Gretchen Bartels from South Range, like I said before the interview, lone senior on the team. And when she talked about trying to up her batting average this year, and that being one of her goals, man, did she ever. You look at her numbers. She kind of teeter-tottered all year from 1 to 2 on the team in batting average, fighting with Kira Brogan with the top spot. Right now, Bartels is second on the team in batting average by what would it be? It would be a 700th of a point. She's hitting 511. Kira Brogan's hitting 518. So yeah, I think she's right there. 511 for the senior. She has 38 singles, 48 total hits, 9 doubles, 1 home run, 33 RBI, 24 runs scored. She's only struck out 9 times this whole year in, 94 at bats. That's impressive. Got an OPS of 1.158. A lot of people looking at OPS nowadays. When it comes to RBI, Bartels is tied for second on the team with 33. Right behind Anna A with 42. Her and Selena De Jesus both with 33 on the year, both tied with for second on the team. So Gretchen Bartels has definitely made her impact felt her senior year. She's been a huge impact player all throughout her high school career, but I think this year especially, best career average, hands down. And she's really, I think, one of the big reasons why she's taking down those strikeout numbers. And she talked about it in that interview. Laying off the rise ball has been big this year, and she's done that really well. Not swinging at pitches that are up. And she places a lot of really good rise ball pitchers. You look at that schedule, a lot of those pitchers that she plays against are really good, have really good rise balls. So it's impressive to go through that season with something that she struggled with, in her first 3 years was swinging at the rise balls. And now, here she is against the schedule with a lot of rise ball pitchers. She's not going after them. And she's hitting 511 on the year with 33 RBI, both second on the team in both those statistics. The other thing that I think is immeasurable is her ability to come up in big situations. You look at the 4 district championships. Her freshman year, she lays down a sacrifice bunt that's a big run in that game. Sophomore year, 2 home runs in one game against Gilmore Academy in that district championship. Walk off against Poland last year. And this year gets a hit and then has her sister Heidi Bartels hitting that grand slam. So that Bartels family coming up really big in district championship games. Something about that round just screams Bartels. So if you're playing South Range in a district championship in the future, in the next 2 seasons that Heidi Bartels has on her career, you better pitch a little bit more careful to Heidi Bartels, because There's just something about that round, that game, that has Bartel's name written all over it. Said it in the article, her nickname is FedEx, and there's no doubt why. She is always delivering with clutch hits. So Gretchen Bartels, it's the last player profile we'll have of her, but man, what a career she's had in South Range, and she'll look to keep it going on Wednesday as they travel to Baldwin Wallace to take on Maslin Tuslaw in game 1 of 2 YSN teams playing in that regional. Champion will play against Norway in game 2 down there at Baldwin Wallace at 5 o'clock. So can't wait. Hopefully we get an all YSN regional championship, and then we are guaranteed a YSN team in the state. That would be awesome, and that was the way that it went down last year. It would be a rematch of last year's regional championship between Champion and South Range. So can't ask for anything more than all of our YSN teams getting through. We have plenty of baseball going on tonight, divisions 1 and 4 district semifinals. We hope you get out there and support your baseball teams. You can watch JFK on the network in about 15 minutes, free from ysnlive.com, thanks to the sponsor. And DJ Oakley will be on the call there, so make sure to check that out. And then tomorrow we will have, right now, we can say for sure Canfield will be on. They are sponsored. Fitch got a sponsor. They will be on. South Range got a sponsor. They will be on. We're just trying to get Champion sponsor. So if you're out there in the Champion softball program and you want tomorrow's tournament game covered, you have a little bit of time still. Go out there, find a sponsor to cover it, get in touch with us. We'd love to make it 4 out of 4 in the softball regional semifinals tomorrow, with 3 divisions all representing YSN teams 1, 2, and 3. We'll have baseball tomorrow on the network as well. So stay tuned to all of that. We'll release our sponsors on our social media. Can't wait for it. But tonight, it's divisions 1 and 4 in baseball. Go out there, support them, check it out on YSN, and we will be back Thursday. No show tomorrow. I want to remind everybody, I will be. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a little tickle in my nose. Didn't want to sneeze. I'm just trying to push that sneeze back up there, man. We will not have the show tomorrow. I will be in Nordonia for Canfield's regional semifinal softball game against Aurora. That should be a really fun one. 1 versus 2 in the district. So I will be heading down there. That game starts at 2, so I'll probably be, setting up at 1 during the time of this show. So no Running Point tomorrow. We will be back on Thursday. And we're just going to move Running Wednesday episode 6 and push it to Thursday. So Thursday's episode Running Point will feature episode 6 of Running Wednesday. We just recorded it today. It's a fun one. I'm not going to spoil who is on it. I'm not going to spoil the guests, but you'll have to wait until Thursday. It's going to be a fun one for episode 6. That's what to look forward to. We'll see you on Thursday. Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Enjoy all the baseball tonight and softball tomorrow. We'll be back to recap it all on